Hey guys, Crystal here. And today I'm talking about my D&D campaign again because we found out yesterday. No plan survives contact with the enemy. Okay, so maybe it's not that bad. But the wonderful long con that was the current events of our campaign focused on my character, Phoebe Fizzlebang. And before I get started with that, there's actually one more caveat that I want to quickly caveat. I'm going to show you the progress on Phoebe herself. So I'm going to switch over to a different program now. She is no longer a floating head. Also, it turns out that the audio I thought recorded didn't actually record, so I'm re-recording the audio right now. This is Phoebe Fizzlebang. Her mouth looks a little strange and I still might shrink it, but I can blink my eyes, I can wiggle the eyebrows, and lips are moving. Which, side note, moving lips actually really hard to program. But I'm getting there. So yes, this is Phoebe Fizzlebang. I can pose her arms. A little bit. I feel like her arms are a little out of proportion, but I'm kind of in love with it. There's a random blue spot on my screen, but the head tilts, it moves, it occasionally gets bigger and smaller when she talks and I get exaggerated. And, yeah. So there's still a little bit more work to do. Like I said, shrinking mouths and other things, but we're almost ready to put it together. But we are getting closer to an actual animated Phoebe Fizzlebang story. Until then, though, we're here. So what happened last night? A lot of stuff. We went shopping. We took care of some minor downtime business. It wasn't until close to near the end of the session where stuff really started taking off. My character bought a bunch of paper and ink so she could copy some spells into her spellbook. She went on her own to the Izzet College, where they supply their own paper at discounted rates, and she returned home on her own. This is important. The only person to know Phoebe was there was the goblin Dazaz. And when the rest of the party went to go check on the paladin Baj, because he had his own minor meltdown of all the things that have been happening lately, they wanted to make sure he was okay. No one told Phoebe. Phoebe was in her lab. They go and check, and Baj starts asking where Phoebe is. Nobody knows, so they decide to go back to the Izzet College, where she usually works, to find her, and contact her supervisor, the mage otherwise known as Izzlegast. Here's the thing. Phoebe has been in her room the entire time, and the paladin, with 9 intelligence, didn't go to check there first, and the rest of the party followed suit. The goblin Dazaz said nothing. We're not 100% sure why. Part of us are like, is the player paying attention? But we're pretty sure it was the character just, being a sneaky goblin Demir clan. Anyway, off to the Izzet College. Well, Baj gets an audience with Izzlegast and explains to him that Phoebe's gone missing. They don't know where he is, and they've checked the Vernati, their home base, and did not find her anywhere. Again, they didn't check her room. So Izzlegast, concerned because Phoebe is one of his prized students, casts a scry spell to see where she is, in front of his entire lab of assistants. Another important thing to note. Izzlegast sees that Phoebe is in her room in the Vernati, and proceeds to backhandedly scold the party for wasting his time, without saying any of that. All he says is perhaps that Phoebe should spend more time in the Izzet College. The implication, because the rest of the party is dumber than she is, and Izzlegast is afraid she will lose IQ points. So, the party goes back to the Vernati. Baj decides to go check on Phoebe, who is still working away copying spellbooks. One of the spellbooks that she is copying was actually found by the party, and it belongs to an ex-Izzet member. So Phoebe takes it. Free spells, right? Now, she told Izzlegast that she took it, and Izzlegast warns that if anyone sees this book, she could be in dire trouble. Especially since another mage by the name of Gina was that mage's best friend. Phoebe also stole Gina's spellbook, which you never steal wizard stuff. And there was a magic mouth in her spellbook saying, the next attack, because the spell went off and tried to hurt both Izelgast and Phoebe, the next one won't tickle. Phoebe remembered this. When Baj is in Phoebe's room talking to her, a chain lightning spell goes off, nearly destroying her automaton and almost killing Baj himself. Phoebe was under the automaton and suffered no damage. Nat 20s are awesome. For the robot, not for Phoebe. Phoebe, of course angered by this sudden attack, casts Dispel Magic and finds a small focus above her head. Dispels it with impunity. Only to remember that she's heard rumors of these focuses before. The Izzet puts them on their prize students to make sure that they're okay at all times. Something that Izelgast never did until now. With that information in hand, she goes back to Izelgast's lab and confronts him, like, why would you cast this? Because Gina is a caster of divination-type magics. So it's because you did this that made me vulnerable. Well, Izelgast didn't like that. He explains that the focus was just that. The problem was the fact that he scryed on her to begin with, because there was a spy in his lab. The only reason there was a spy was because Baj was worried about Phoebe. Now, Phoebe knew the risks. She cast spells like Nistral's magic aura to keep herself protected against discovery, so that the book she was copying would not be located by Gina. She did everything in her power, with the exception of an amulet of non-detection, to make sure that she was safe. And it was her best friends that made her vulnerable. So all of her best laid plans meant nothing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Or in this case, your friends. So that was what happened in our most recent session. We did end the session with Izelgast asking for Phoebe's assistance to find the spy. So we don't know what's going to happen until next week. I will do a Phoebe's perspective eventually, once the animation is completed. I know I've been saying this for a while. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. Like it if you like it. Comment down below what you think of the best friends ruining everything. Or maybe they didn't ruin everything. What do you think? Anyway, check me out on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays. And special announcement here is next weekend, I will be streaming with other writers on their channels. All the links for that information will be down below. It's going to be fun, especially if you're a writing or productivity freak. This will be the perfect time. We're going to talk about book stuff, writer stuff, and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So until then, we'll see you next time.